Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, we are live in YouTube land.
Why?
Two minutes to showtime. You want to cue it up, Bo?
I
said you want to start queuing it up, or you already
I'm
did?
queuing it up now. Okay. I'm doing it right now.
Y'all see me going, my head moving back and forth. I'm working two monitors. That's all.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
Okay. I will tell you in just a minute.
Everybody, looks like my video is acting up again.
Mm-hmm.
This is not unusual. It's not gonna let me show. Let me see if it's gonna let me run my video. It's probably gonna keep freezing up, but I just have to unfreeze it.
Yeah, as long as we hear you, we're good. Alrighty. And go.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curl. It's the story of a man named Brady who was busy with three boys of his own. They were four men living all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met this fellow, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that this group must somehow form a family. That's the way they all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch. That's the way they became the Brady Bunch.
Right.
Woo, does that take me back to my childhood or what?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Man, see, okay. All truth, I had the biggest crush on Florence Henderson. I was the youngest dude in the world, and I had the biggest. I'm gonna tell y'all just how big my crush was. Y'all not gonna believe this, but I'm honestly gonna tell you how big it was. This was back in the days when there was 411, and you had information. Okay, you didn't have internet, so I mean, I had to go 411. I had to do all kinds of stuff to figure out how in the world to call Hollywood. I think it was Warner Brothers Studio, whatever it was. Y'all, I lied to you not. I actually called the studio and tried to get in touch with Florence Henderson when I was a kid. So when that phone bill came in, y'all already knew how that went, right? She had a young stalker. Do you hear me?
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yes, a young stalker for sure.
I was a young stalker, man.
Did you get a whooping?
So Florence, if you're out there, I still love you. Huh?
Did you get a whooping for the phone bill?
You know what? I never got a whooping for the phone bill because I never really admitted to it. I think I used to get my dad in trouble. I ain't gonna lie, because every time something happened, I'd be like, "Nah, Ma, you better talk to Dad about that." I could tell y'all some more stories, but I am not putting myself totally on blast on Peer Talk. Okay, not gonna do it tonight.
Right on.
But welcome everybody. Welcome to the show.
Yes, indeed. We are excited about today's show, you all. So, for everybody that's joining us for the first time, this is Peer Talk 2.0. We and my illustrious host Onyx Linthicum, we ask that you forgive us tonight. He's having some video issues, but we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna keep rocking and rolling through this tonight. We are super excited. I have some dear friends of mine and just some amazing people on with us as our guests, as we're going to be discussing the blended family. We're going to get into that. But before we do, let's just do a little roundtable. How you doing? Oh, how was your week? How was your weekend?
My week was actually I teleworked all week, so those are normally light weeks around this time of the year. It's not a whole lot going on because everybody's in holiday mode.
Yes.
So it wasn't too busy. I got some things done around the house at the same time. The weekend holiday party last night. Today church and regular. It's just been a regular weekend, but it's been a good one. The weather was pretty decent. I rained a little bit today, but you can't. If every day is a sunny day, then what's a sunny day, right?
Right. Let me just tell you, us folks here in California, we are having some issues because we have some ridiculous cold front that has come in, and we all are scrambling. I have been to probably about 3 or 4 stores trying to find a coat, because it's not jacket season as we usually have it. It's coat season. It's been so cold, and so everybody is in the store, and we like, where the coats? We don't want no sweat jacket. We don't want, where are the coats? And the workers are looking at us like, what's a coat?
Hey, you remember last year for Christmas or New Year's, I was in Cabo. And while I was down there, they had a ridiculous cold front. Okay, you open the patio door and the gust of wind that came in was just like, why am I here? I may as well have stayed home for this. I mean, it was really cold. It was so bad that the people there were going to the store and buying heavy coats.
Yeah,
in Cabo, it never gets cold down there.
In Cabo.
Yep.
Well, I want to hear from our guests. I want to give a brief. We're gonna get into this and talk, y'all. This is just what we do. This is a very candid conversation, just to let you all know. We just rock and roll with it. This is just like friends coming together. If you were at home in the living room drinking some coffee and just having some really great conversations and dialogue. So that's what we do.
What if they don't drink coffee though?
Coffee, tea, hot cocoa.
Something else?
Okay. Exactly. Or a bottle of water. How about that? Nobody gonna turn down some water. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the dynamic duo known as the Smiths. And let me just give you a little bit about our guests tonight. Edward and Debbie Smith are better known as I stated, as the dynamic duo of Meet the Smiths. Edward and Debbie are authors of 2 books, The 5-Star Marriage, The 5-Star Husband-Wife. Shortly after the books were placed on Amazon, the 5-Star Husband-Wife climbed to the 4th position, placing the Smiths on the Amazon bestseller list. Okay, that's just me. Okay. The Smiths understand the devastating effects of divorce from their personal experience. Because of this, they are determined, and I know this for a fact, to become the champions for successful marriages. They understand that strong marriages lead to strong children and families. Now, with that said, which leads to strong communities and strong church connections. They are very much spiritual-based relationship educators and coaches. So I just want y'all to know that up front. If y'all want to, they're on Facebook. You can ping them, go to their website, please. I just can't tell you enough about these 2 amazing individuals. So with that said, can you all give a round of applause to Edward and Debbie Smith? Meet the Smiths.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, how are you all? It's been a minute, so how are you all doing?
Man,
What's new and exciting in your
listen,
world?
listen, girl. Even though we're a blended family, but right now we're empty nesters.
Ooh,
Yes, ma'am. And so we moved to Georgia. I'm not sure if you moved that. So
oh
you
my
know that, but
goodness.
we moved to Georgia and we're living life.
Oh
Every
my goodness.
I mean,
What-
every weekend we are somewhere, somebody's country, somebody's state, somebody's hotel,
Yes.
something we just go.
Nice.
Oh my
What part
goodness.
of
That's right.
Georgia?
Now I need some tips on that whole how do you transition? We're gonna have to have a whole nother a show on how
Uh,
do you transition from the full house to the empty nest, because I'm right around the corner on that one. So I need some tips for sure on
What
how to
part of
do that
Georgia are you guys
transition.
in?
we're in Gwinnett County,
Grace.
County.
Gwinnett County. Okay.
Grayson.
Grayson. Okay.
Grayson. Okay. Okay.
All
Okay.
righty.
Cool. Okay.
We got
Like I really know
several.
where that is, but okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have
Grayson County.
several though of other Peer Talk family members, and we call it a family, the Peer Talk family in Georgia. So we definitely got to get them connected into all the wonderful things that you all are doing. So we
Absolutely.
are excited. So what else has been going? Empty nesters. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's
The babies are
it's,
no
Well,
longer
let's-
babies.
it's bittersweet.
Let's start. How many have left the nest? Because y'all making this sound like y'all had a
3.
football team or something.
No,
Okay.
it's only 3.
3. Okay. Well,
Yes.
only. Okay. I see you're, at a loss at the top. Did that happen because of the 3?
Yeah, absolutely. The stress, brother, the stress.
Yeah, mine's is getting there. You see how low it is, right?
Oh my goodness. So you know what? Before we jump into the questions, and just to let you know, Debbie and Edward, we usually have folks join us here on the Zoom, so they may have some questions for you as well, if you all don't mind. But we just want to have, again, a very candid conversation about the blended family. So tell me, one, how long have you all been together, and how did the blend happen with you all?
So Ed and I have been together for going on 18 years,
That's right.
married going on 15 years. And how did the blend happen? I have known Ed since I was about 13 years old. And
Wow.
yeah, we've known each other for a really long time. We attended the same church in New Jersey. And I always looked at him as an attractive older guy, right? He was just,
Yeah.
good, look nice.
Man, she was checking you out and she wasn't even listening to the sermon. She was looking at you.
You understand?
Man, what?
But life happened. I got married at the age of 22, had 3 children by my ex-husband, relocated to a whole nother state, and Ed stayed in New Jersey. He got married as well. And so, we kept in touch with each other through others. Like I would always ask my sister, oh, how's Ed doing? Or he'd always tell her, tell your sister I said hello. And then I went through a divorce, started going through a divorce, and I moved back from Maryland to New Jersey.
Okay.
And Ed was still there at the same church where I had met him. And so it was kind of like, when I was younger, I was a very rebellious teenager. And I remember Ed would always talk to me about girl,
No.
you don't even
No.
want to
Lorinda,
know.
Lorinda. That's another show.
Okay.
Another story. But Ed would always talk to me, and he would always encourage me, like, you need to listen to your parents. They have your best interest at heart. And so I always looked at him as a mentor. So when I came back from Maryland, going through this devastating divorce, he was there. And so we began to talk about our experiences. And again, kind of this mentorship. And I found that he was someone that I could rely on. I remember him saying, like, what are you doing here? And giving me his number. But I wasn't in a place where I was ready to necessarily reach out or call him or anything. And so months went by. And then he saw me a second time and he was like, so I haven't heard from you. Did you lose my number? So he gave me his number again.
Oh, he's starting to feel you out now. He like, you know what? She done grown up now a little bit, you've been all my life. I heard from you.
So one day I dialed the number and we began talking and we haven't stopped since. I'll tell you a really interesting story. Maybe last year or 2 years ago, we put up a post on Facebook and it was something about 16 years or something like that. And one of his good friends commented on that post and she said, girl, this man has been checking for you for a very long time. So trust me, it is way beyond the 15 years. And it, what's interesting, as a younger woman, I didn't recognize the potential that was there. I just saw it as something that was out of my league, Here we are.
Let me ask, how what's the age difference, if you don't mind me asking?
So Ed is 15 years older than I am.
Wow. All righty then.
So here's the deal. Here's what was going on, which you didn't realize because you was young, you're impressionable and all that kind of thing. He was grooming you. He wasn't mentoring you. He was grooming you. He's like, I'm gonna make her the way I need her to be.
That sounds like he's a pedophile.
No, he was respectful of the age. He was respectful of that part of it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? She just need a little direction. Let me point her in the right direction. And have that come right back to me.
I had to grow out of all of that rebelliousness, man. All that rebellion had to come out.
Had to come out.
I'm gonna look at God because, I started showing interest in her when she was about 19, 20, right? But back then she was in the prime of her life, and so she had different guys showing her attention. So she had different guys that she could choose from. And fortunately, I was not one of them. But you see, but here's what it is. God knew why, because had I been the one, and we got married, we would not have made it. Because God had to do some work within me first. God had to do some work within her first before we were able to come back.
That's real talk right there. Real talk, as always. So let's talk about this blend. So Debbie, you were divorced. Edward, you have children that came into the situation as well.
I have one daughter, but they never lived with us. I have a daughter who's 35.
Okay. So now here it is. Edward caught you. He got you, Debbie.
He
got you, and now there's 3 children, children with you. How was it? What is the best part? First of all, I want to go with what is the best part about the blended families? Let's start there before we go into the flow of how that goes.
Right.
So what's the best part of the blended family?
Oh man, I think the thing about the blended family is that it shows a picture of how God can take broken things and turn them into whole new beautiful art pieces.
I love that.
And I think that's exactly what happened in our case. He took broken fragments and brought them together and made it into a beautiful tapestry. Not without issues, not without struggles, but still a beautiful demonstration of what he can do.
Yeah.
And don't he do it though? I just love
all the time
how he moves and operates, because he just blows you away. What you think can't be. He's like, literally, he lets us know nothing is impossible for me. If you see brokenness, I don't see brokenness. If you see something that can't be, forged together, I'm God. I can do anything. I have the whole plan before him. So I love it. So what was the biggest struggle for you all coming
Which
together?
one? Which one would you like? You first. Which one
So
would you like to hear
Edward,
first?
I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna start with you. What
Okay.
was the biggest struggle for you?
Well, I'm going to equate struggle to mistakes. Okay. So once we started getting together and we started showing interest in each other, the biggest mistake we made was not getting the children involved. Right? You know, one day the children knew or was introduced to me as Uncle Eddie, and the next minute they know we're getting married.
Right.
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 So
Right.
there were no involvement in the children and stuff, and so that paradigm shift was very, very difficult. And once we get together as wife and husband, now family, you know, the dynamics, you know, there was a tug of war with the dynamics within the household, you know, and it created multiple a tsunami of issues, right? And so what I decided to do is I became intentional in unlearning some stuff and relearn new things so that I can be adapted in this family, because the fact of the matter is that Deb and the children had already formed a bond, a family, a rhythm, you know, that was working for them. But then here I come. I came in the mix now, and because I'm there, you know, parts of the rhythm had to change, you know, to fit me in, you know, and so that became a struggle. So I realized that after some bumping heads, and I said, okay, you know, for me, I'm gonna have to unlearn some stuff and relearn some stuff so that, you know, my family could work.
So you got in there and disturbed the peace that they had up in that piece.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you got the you not my daddy, and you got all of that. Did you get all of that too?
Well, fortunately, I never got that verbally.
Good,
but you know, it was played out in different, you know, areas of our different pockets of the relationship. But you know, respectfully, no one has ever said that to me.
So let me ask you this: what was the So both of you had kids when you entered into this covenant? Okay, who now? There are a total of 3 kids, right?
Yep.
Is that what I heard? Okay, so who
3
has
from, 3
boys,
from
girls?
Debbie and 1 from Edward.
All 3 of the kids are mine. Ed's daughter is older, and
she never lived with us. Right.
Okay.
Okay, but you know what? That's still a different. That adds another dynamic, because she is older. And you know, and sometimes when you're older, you feel a different kind of way, you know, like, you know, daddy, she's too young for you, and that kind of thing, you know. I mean, right? So you just have a whole lot of different dynamics going on. So let me ask you, the 3 kids, boys, girls?
2 girls and a boy.
Okay, so let me guess, your biggest clash was with the young man, right? No, are you serious? It wasn't even an issue of establishing dominance or anything like that, huh?
And the reason why, because I came in their life when he was only 1.
Okay.
So the structure of a father, you know, that was me. So that's all he
Good.
knew.
Okay.
So there was not much of a pushback.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
The children were, when Ed and I reconnected, my son was 1. Right. But when we got married, he was 4. We'll talk about when we got married. So when we got married, JD was 4 years old. He was the baby. Then Zaria was 8, and Jaya, the oldest, was 12. So they were all 4 years apart, 12, 8, and 4. The biggest pushback came from the 8-year-old, that middle child. Yes.
Wow.
Very strong personality. I remember when Ed and I were dating, she was 4, 5 at the time. And he said to me, if you don't get her under control, and I remember saying, no, that's her personality. I don't want to break her spirit. Let her be. Honey, woo! Yes,
He
she
saw it.
is.
Mhm.
But she has the biggest heart out of
Right.
all three of my kids. She is the
Wow.
most family oriented, the most loving. Um, and we still have our struggles. I mean, now
Mm.
everybody is out of the house. She lives on her own. My oldest lives on her own. She's married and, has a baby. And the baby is away at college. He's coming home tomorrow. So excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
But all of the relationship dynamics between the kids are just
Different.
different. The oldest, I think she learned how to like fly under the radar so that she did not disturb the peace. So she kind of flew under the radar. She was
Mhm.
going into high school soon. She knew college was right ahead. So she's like, I could do this until college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The youngest, he was just like, this is what I know. And mind you,
Right.
they know their dad. He has a great relationship with his father,
Mhm.
but Ed is the one who he saw in the household. He's the
Right.
one. I see so many traits of Ed in him.
Oh,
But the middle one was the one. Could have been age, her personality, but she's the one who gave the most pushback.
gosh.
So Ed,
And
let me.
Go ahead, Onyx.
I was
yeah,
going to
I
ask.
just
So
want
okay.
to insert something real quick
Oh yeah, go ahead.
before we move on. So, Lorinda, you said in the beginning that we had 2 books. We actually have 3.
Mhm.
And the third one is I'm Not Leaving, A Look Inside My Blended Family. And
Yes.
that book, all of us wrote a part of that book. So Ed writes
Nice.
a piece
Excellent.
from the stepfather perspective. I write from the biological parent perspective. And then each of the children have a chapter. And you
I
can
love it.
clearly see the oldest and her personality come out. When you read that middle one
Nice.
piece, you're like, oh Lord, this child.
That's
And
really
then
Oh
good.
my goodness.
the baby was kind of like, I just want everybody to get along.
Yeah, we all
Like,
get
Yeah,
what's
right.
happening? So all of that comes through in the book. So for
Yeah.
any listeners who you're looking for a resource, check it out. It is on Amazon.
Yes, excellent. Edward, you said something. You said you had to unlearn some things. Oftentimes you don't hear about that. You hear the children have to come in and the children have to change and the children have to get on board with this. But I love that you mentioned that you as the adult had to come into this and unlearn some things. Share a little bit about that journey of you unlearning some things and sort of bridging that gap, if you don't mind.
So coming from, I don't know how much you guys are associated with West Indian people. So coming from Jamaica, I have my strong personality and, well structured and, from coming from also from a military background, everything is black and white, and regimental and stuff like that. But so I came into my blended family with that kind of persona, but quickly realized that that was not going to work. Right. So I learned now not to do direct discipline in the children, but indirect. I would discipline them through her. If there's an issue, then I go to her, and talk about the issue, then she will minister the discipline in. And so everything, she was the bridge between myself and the children. And so it was very important that I remain consistent with that, because here it is, in a blended relationship, my job as a non-biological parent is to build a relationship.
Yeah.
You understand me? And I've
Yeah.
always said this, Lorinda, rules and regulation without relationship leads to rebellion. Right. So my job is to build relationship. And what does that look like? Building relationship is do one-on-one dating with them, and do group dating with them. Talk about what hurts them the most. Let them understand that I am not here to replace your dad. Right. But I'm just stepping in where there is a gap to assist your mom in raising your children. And so these are some of the things that I had to, I had to change my who I was and adapt something else so that my family can flourish.
So Ed, I like that you said you had to minister and discipline them through her. You know, I like the way you said minister. So what you did was you passed the belt ministry off to her.
Yes.
And let her handle the discipline part of it. Okay, that's yeah. There is a ministry for those who don't know. It's called the Belt Ministry, and you know, every Black household has one. For those of you who
has the ministry,
I think I'm going to write a book on that one, the Belt Ministry, and you know, might have Child Protective Services coming after me, but my kid is 21 now, so they can't touch me. All right, keep it moving. Go to the next door neighbor's house. Anyway, good.
Debbie, here's a question for you. Was it hard dealing with how Edward disciplined the children first coming in? How was that for you? You've been sort of, you know, you are been at the helms all this time with the children. How was that? If you can just speak, especially to, you know, to us women, because we want to just guard the nest and like don't hurt the babies.
Mercy.
But how did you deal with that?
Mercy.
He shakes his head. He's like, "Yeah, I've been through that."
Yeah.
Lorinda, to this day,
Hallelujah.
to this day, I am still Mama Bear. It never goes away, right? You just have to learn how to manage it.
Yes.
And what I've learned to do in the beginning, I would kind of correct him in front of the children, like, you know, don't say that, or and what I had to learn how to do was kind of take a step back, let him do his thing. If I felt like it was inappropriate or too harsh, we would have that conversation behind closed doors. And I would say to him, you know what, babe, when you're dealing with so-and-so, this is probably not the best approach. Or I don't know if you saw the look in his eye when you said that, but that might be a trigger for him. So I kind of coached him and helped him on the back end. But to this day, I think it was just a few months ago, we had an incident with our son away at college, and he just went off on a tangent. He was just like, and I try to tell him, like, babe,
that's my baby, that's my boy right there.
I said, babe, this is what happened. But before we could even have a conversation, he was on the phone and he was going in. And I got so upset. I was so upset. But then he had to say to me, babe, you have to realize by now, my job is not to hurt our children. Whatever I do or say is coming from a place of love, wanting to protect them, wanting them to be better. I'm not out to hurt them. I love them and I love you. But I need to hear that all the time because your motherly instincts naturally kick in. And I don't think it has anything to do with Ed being a stepfather. I think whether it's a biological father, stepfather, grandfather, you know, if you feel like someone is being harsh with your child, as a mom, your natural instinct is to protect them. Don't talk to them that way. You know, don't say that. Come here, baby. But I had to learn throughout the relationship to kind of take a step back and allow him to do what he does, but coach him when necessary.
Excellent.
Yeah, and another thing that is very, very important, Onyx and Lorinda, is that us parents, and I'm going to speak from West Indian parents, have a serious problem apologizing to our children. You know, and I want us to understand that it is okay to apologize, because even though you may be parents and you're more experienced, you will not always get it right.
Correct.
And the time that you don't get it right, you know, go to your child and say, listen, man, you know, I realized that I said this the wrong way. I realized that I hurt you. I realized that whatever it is, you know, it was not meant to be that way. Moving forward, I promise you that that will not happen again. You know, but let's talk a little bit more about the issue that caused that. You know, how can we prevent this from happening again? You know, so now the ownership is on both of us. How can we prevent this from happening again? Let's talk about that. Let's unpack that.
I love that. I love that open communication is key. Yeah, you may go to your respective corners and you have to deal with it, but you got to come back together. And I love what you said, Edward. It's okay to apologize. I
Yes.
don't think it's just a West Indies thing. I think it's some southern folks have that challenge as well. With it's okay to apologize to your children and bridge that gap and come back together. And how can we move forward from this?
Absolutely.
I totally love that. Question for you, Edward. Did you feel as though you were ever competing with the children for Debbie's time and attention?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unpack that more.
And
How did you
so,
deal with it?
because in the beginning, and so I don't feel that way anymore. You understand me? She could spend the
Right.
entire day with them, and I'm good because I know my worth. I know where I am with her. So
Yes.
it does not bother me. But in the interim of the relationship, it really bothers me because I'm like, okay, all this time with these kids, what about me? I need some me time,
What about
and
me?
yeah. And so every time she spend all these what I call quality time with them, I felt as though it was taken away from me,
Mhm.
because by the time she get around to me, she's tired and she's done and she just want to go sleep. I'm like, oh, that's what it is, you know. But 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 but,
No
but then
headache or nothing, just tired.
but I
At
understand
least
as I get into the relationship more and understand the dynamics of blending, you know, again, I am like a foreign body or a foreign matter came into a body. And so the body is going to do whatever it is to get rid of that
Yeah,
foreign matter,
that's a
and so
great
I have
analogy.
yeah, I have to learn to navigate my way around that and give everybody their space, their time, and not to be selfish.
you was just waiting
How
on
did
them
you,
kids to grow up and move out, weren't you? Tell the truth.
Point.
Tell the truth.
Debbie, how did you deal with that? Knowing that at the beginning, this was a challenge for Edward, how he was feeling. How did you deal with that as well? From his side, but also with the children possibly coming to you sort of, or getting that feeling that they said you're spending too much time with him versus us. I mean, you're getting it from both ends. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, it was so I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not handle it very well in the beginning. I felt like you're grown, you'll be okay.
Whew. Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Wow.
That was honestly my attitude. Like, dude, you're grown, you're gonna be okay. But as you get into this relationship thing and as you understand what relationship is all about, you realize that the time that husband and wife spend together, it is sacred. And it's actually, you're doing a service to the children when you begin to model for them what a healthy relationship looks like. That saying, okay, today is date night is not going to harm your kids. If
Right.
anything, again, it's showing them an example of what a healthy relationship looks like. And so in the beginning, it was rough. Um, Trying to balance everything, like, again, I had a 4-year-old,
Right.
so yes, he required a lot of time. My girls required a lot of time. They were going into the teens and the tweens.
Oh,
And so
Lord.
having to find that balance between creating those date nights with Ed so that he always felt that he was a priority, but never neglecting the children either. So, the girls and I would go do things together. JD and I would have mommy and son time. And so life was busy. Life was really, really busy because on
Always
top of
busy.
that, we were building a business, we were
Right.
working, we were writing books, but somehow we managed.
So you know what? I'm glad
Excellent.
you said that because my next question is: you guys seem to figure things out along the way. You you seem like you realized there was a problem and you realized what needed to be done to fix the problem or to remedy it. Did you at any point get counseling through this whole process? Did anybody else step in to kind of help show you guys the way, or mentors even?
So that's what I was going to say. We had some mentors along the way, but you know what did it for us, Onyx? We got involved. Our church selected us to lead the family life ministry. And that was such an awesome responsibility. At first, we did not want to do it. We felt like we are barely hanging on here by a thread, and you want us to lead a ministry. But that is what exposed us, because we began to read and to study and to, read Miles Monroe and to read all of these other amazing authors about relationships, and they became our mentors. And so a lot of what we read, and we began to attend different marriage retreats, and that just fed our relationship. And the more we were fed, the more we had to give to the kids. And so that's really when things started turning around for our family.
Love it. Love it.
Do you all mentor families now? Do you find yourselves being mentors to other couples that are looking to get married and blend their families?
Yeah.
So we're marital premarital counselors. So we do one-on-one counseling. We do group, we do church, seminars, whatever it is, as if it relates to my relationship, we're doing it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yes, and yes, indeed. Right on. Thank you so much for that. So here's a question. What advice would you all, having gone through this, your educators in this arena, what advice would you give someone, first of all, dating someone with children, let alone once you go through this dating process and you realize this is the one? What advice would you give to them to help them on this journey of blending? Can you all share that with our audience?
Yeah,
Some tips and tricks.
yeah, I would say talk about everything ahead of time. Talk about how discipline is going to be. Talk about, setting up family meetings. I think that's one of the things that we did that really, really helped us. We had weekly family meetings where everyone got a chance to talk about what happened this week that, one, is going really well and you want it to continue, or two, is not going so well and you need it to change. Did someone say something hurtful? So we gave the children an opportunity to voice what they were going through. We also had our family nights, which were, fun. As grown as our kids are, they remember family nights. They remember the games that we played. And we shut everything down one night a week. No meetings, no counseling, no nothing. It was just us and the kids and whatever they wanted to do. I'm sure our neighbors thought we were crazy. We'd be outside playing street tag. We'd be outside racing. When it was JD's night, he wanted to take his little cars outside and race them. We played hide and go seek in the dark. I mean, charades, you name it. We did it as a family. Even on the nights when we were arguing, right? Even when the night before we had a big blow up argument, family night always stayed. Our family meetings always stayed. And I think we had to take a step back. I know for Ed and I, we just had this fantasy in our head that, you know what, we love each other so much that our kids are just going to be okay. They're going to love him, and they loved him before we got married, right? They loved him when he was just mommy's friend.
Right.
But once we got married, it was a different situation. So I think just talking to them about that, they didn't understand the phases of our relationship because we kind of kept that to ourselves. And looking back in hindsight, we realized we should have exposed them to, okay, mommy is dating now, you know, and then comes the marriage. And how do you feel about it? In the book, I remember one of the kids said he went from mommy's friend that she's known since she was 13 to, you know, he's about to be her husband. Like, how did that happen? And we never met him before. We never heard about him before.
So Ed, you never even went through the uncle stage. That's my uncle Ed.
Here you go, bro.
You never went through that stage.
No, I did. Even today.
You did, okay.
The middle daughter called me Uncle Eddie.
Yeah. So when Ed was introduced to the kids, right? Again, we had just reconnected. We were friends, and it was just out of respect. You know, it's either Mr. or Uncle. And so they start, and you know, it's so funny. We laugh because JD was so little, he couldn't even say Uncle Eddie. He would say Unc Eddie. It was like one word. Hey, Unc Eddie. But now he calls him Pops. You know, that's the type of relationship that they have. He calls him Pops. And so those are just a few of the things that I would say put into place, and definitely, absolutely seek counsel. Because, you know, regardless of why you're blended, whether it's through a divorce, whether you were never married, whether that biological parent is in the picture or not, everybody needs to get to a place where they can work together. And have healthy boundaries for the children's sake.
Yeah, and always remember that no two blended family ever look alike.
Right.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
Different dynamics.
Because that would mean y'all related. If y'all look alike, that would mean y'all already related.
You know what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
not gonna mess with you tonight. You know, and it's very important to understand that. So what will work for family A may not work for family B.
Yeah.
You know, and so you have to understand your dynamics and what's going on in your dynamics, and work that. And to the parents that are getting together, you know, not because you have moved on from the biological mother or the biological father, whichever the case may be, that does not mean that the children have moved on.
Right. They're never going to move on.
Not because you have moved on, that means that children have moved on. Because to children, in most cases, divorce, let's talk about divorce for a little bit. It is like a death in the family. Right? And because it's like a death in the family, everybody mourns death differently.
Differently. That's so true.
You know, and sometimes I like to liken it to, it's like a member of your body being severed, and the pain that comes with that is your pain. It is not my pain. So I can't tell you when to move on or when to get over your pain. So the non-biological parents that comes in, our job is not to inflict more pain, but to soothe the pain that they have by our behavior.
Love that.
You know, going back to the uncle thing, you got to be careful with that uncle thing, though. I dated a girl one time, and I met her daughter for the first time, and she said, "Mommy, you sure have a lot of brothers." And I looked at her, and she looked at Mama. I was like, "How many brothers? You said you had 2 brothers." She was like, I got 5 uncles."
Wow. Wow.
That didn't go so well. I felt sorry for the child after I left.
Everybody uncle. Look,
and you know, honestly,
so and so.
You bring up such a good point, because it was much later in our marriage. We went to a seminar, and they talked about an uncle and how a lot of times there's a stigma between kids calling their stepfather uncle, and you know, some of the abuse that have taken place. And because that was not my narrative, it's not something that Ed and I had ever dealt with. We didn't associate that. And so, you know, that's something that we kind of counsel couples now as we, you know, they're dating and preparing to get married and they're blended, is what is your child going to call your new husband or your new wife, right? That's an important conversation. We don't believe in forcing children to call them mommy or daddy or whatever. Let them decide what they're going to call this person.
Right.
That's so true.
And another thing I'm learning in regards to your question, encourage the children, even though you are not their biological parent, encourage the children to have a relationship with the parent that is not in the home. Right? Yeah. And never you talk bad about the parents that's not in the home. One of the things that I used to do coming home from work and the kids were, when they were home, the moment I get in the house and I greet everybody, did you call your dad today? No. Pick up the phone and call your dad, because I wanted to encourage that relationship, not because he's no longer in the home means that he's no longer in their life.
Right.
So I wanted to encourage that, call your dad, have a con. I mean, it got to the point where people look at Devon and said, "You guys crazy," because we allow the man to come to our house and sleep in our house.
See, you're leading right into my next question. How did you bridge the gap with the biological parent and the kids the kids seeing
sleep in the house?
This is not this negative thing, but it's a positive thing, because sometimes
it's a
it could be
hotel
a battle,
right down the block.
No, honestly, it was to benefit us. So we were traveling for business and the kids were, still younger. And so we needed somebody who would get up and make sure they got on the school bus and, and so he was available. And Ed is the one who suggested it. Babe, why don't we call him and see if he is available? And so I did. And he said, sure. And he came to our house and he stayed there. We were gone for like 4 days.
When we told the kid that he's coming to stay, they were like, what?
Yeah, he had the same look I got. Like, cause see, the first time I come home and he's wearing one of my t-shirts, I'm gonna be like,
So no.
Can I talk to you in the garage real quick?
Yeah, no. And we felt totally comfortable, totally safe. We called, we checked in on the kids. They were having a great time with their dad.
Y'all had cameras. Y'all was watching what was going on. Y'all had cameras. Let me try it.
We didn't have no cameras.
We did, bro. We did.
But there comes a time when there has to be a level of maturity. And our situation is not going to be everybody's situation. Like, we're not saying let your ex come and stay in your home if that's not something, if you're not there. But what we are saying is that when you guys see each other, when you're in the same space, there should always be that level of respect. One thing that Ed always did whenever we had gatherings for the children, birthday parties or celebrations, and their dad came, he would take that man around and introduce him to our friends. Hey, this is the kid's biological dad, hey. And he always did that because he wanted that man to know, listen, I recognize who you are. These kids wouldn't be here without you. And so he always gave him that level of respect. And of course, in the beginning, it's uncomfortable, right? It was uncomfortable going around family gatherings with his family. I felt uncomfortable because, this was once my family and, we were here together and now we're not. So it was uncomfortable in the beginning. But the more that you do it, the more that you show up, the more that you show respect, you realize that you get it back. And so we have no issues. His sisters, his mom, they come to our home, they invite us to their home and we go. We don't go to everything.
Right.
Because it can be overkill, but we frequent.
We do what we can.
Yeah, we do what we can. And we always make sure the kids are there to spend time with their family.
I love it. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. So if you all don't mind, we're going to open up the lines. If you have any questions that you would like to ask the Smiths, please unmute your mics. If you are watching us from YouTube, please go to our Facebook group, Peer Talk 2.0. The Zoom information is there. Call information is there. Or if you are on Facebook and you're watching the link of YouTube, again, the Zoom information is there. Please call in and ask your questions. I know we have 2 callers on the phone. I see that there's something in the chat feature down here. Ebony said to you all, they love the ideas of the family. She loves the idea of the family night. I love that as well. You know, I love that you said you make sure there's such a consistency there. Nothing is going to interfere with that time with the children. And that's just continuously building that relationship, building that comfort. We are together. It's all about that togetherness. So I agree with you, Ebony. I love that idea as well.
So I'm curious about that. I'm curious about that. At what age did the kids start to break away from that family time?
Oh, when they left the house?
Yep.
They never break, brother. They never broke, man. Never.
Nope. And
Really?
just to tell you how real that is. So in August, before our son went away to college, all of us were together here in Georgia. So both of the girls came down, he was here, and we had family night here in Georgia. And they wanted to do what? Oh my God, let's turn off the lights and play hide and go seek in the dark. So here we are. I mean, you're talking 25-year-old,
right,
22-year-old, and 18-year-old, and we are running around.
And our granddaughter was
fine. Right.
So we have all the lights off, and we are running around this house playing hide and seek. And so these are traditions. These are things and memories that your kids are never going to forget.
Yeah,
so true.
And in fact,
true.
they're gonna build it with their own kids.
Absolutely.
And so we expect that every time we're all together, we're gonna have some type of family night. We're gonna play some type of game and just enjoy each other's company.
Man, you know what? I miss that stuff. I'm gonna have to start all over again now. I gotta go. Probably have about 2 more.
Right. Sure.
So I can start some of these traditions, man. Because Christmas ain't the same no more. The kid done grew up and he on his own doing his thing.
Right.
I'm just a lonely man.
You need somebody to play hide and seek with. Is that it, Onyx?
Hide and seek is more fun as an adult, Ren. It really
Listen, so much fun.
It really is. Don't judge.
Hey, Janet. They Renee and Ebony didn't get the chance to say hello to everybody, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi. I need to turn up my volume, but I'm
we
late,
hear you
but I'm
fine.
here. I went to a Christmas potluck.
Oh,
But better late than never.
That's right.
So true. Well, it's good. I'm glad you made it, Janet, but the show is about over now. We talked a lot about the blended family. Have you experienced the blended family?
Yeah. Let me turn up my volume. I think my volume is very low.
We can hear you.
Okay, let me see if I could turn up my volume.
Maybe she can't
Okay.
hear.
Yeah, I was gonna say she can't hear us.
I'm good now. Yeah, my volume is up.
You're fine, Janet. You're fine.
You're
fine. We're talking about blended families, kind of like the Brady Bunch, 2 families coming together, or and what that dynamic looks like.
Well, I had one. I had a blended family. My ex-husband married me with 2 children.
Okay.
But it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. I thought it was going to be, but that's in my head.
Why? Why was it so difficult, Janet? Why was it so difficult?
He never have any children. And I think he did the best he could trying to be a father. But my children, my 2 daughters, especially my second daughter, maybe my first daughter felt that way, but she never really told me. But my second daughter, she's the type will tell you, how she feel in the best way she could. Well, yeah, I mean, it was like a nonverbal. We would go on vacations, and it was like a nonverbal vacation. We would drive from Los Angeles to San Diego, and he don't say anything.
Mm.
And my two daughters
not even let you know when they got to use the bathroom, nothing like that.
Well, really, it's like zero, really, to tell you the truth. He just, he would like
just wait.
Well, it made my children felt unloved and felt unneeded. And
wow.
I remember my second daughter, when she getting ready to graduate from high school, a few months before the graduation, he told her that he was going to buy her a car. And she said, well, anybody could buy me a car. Any man could buy me a car. That's not what I need from you. So, and she told him, she said, what I really need from you is for you to communicate with us, that interaction, and to make them feel needed and feel loved. He gave them things. He gave a lot of stuff. Yeah. But he didn't show it like the hugging, the nurturing, the telling you, oh, I really love you, I really care for you. But now that I look back, I could see where he really didn't have that to give, because he was raised up without a father. And his mother had told him that his father was dead. And at 32 or 33, he found out that his father was alive.
Wow.
And I think he stuffed a lot. He kept a lot of things internally, and he was not an extrovert. He was more like an introvert. So my children, they didn't feel, we did a lot of stuff, but it was non-verbally.
Wow.
Right.
You know what
I think?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's a problem that a lot of men have. We communicate different. Well, obviously, men communicate differently than women. Most men communicate different. It's a total different level of a type of communication. I think men are more doers than they are sayers. One of the biggest problems women typically have with men is what? Communication, right? Yeah. Y'all don't communicate. Y'all don't know how to communicate. We're going to do a show about this. We've done some shows similar to this, but we're going to have to do a show specifically on that, where we talk about the differences in communication, because it's not that men don't communicate. We just don't necessarily communicate the way you would like for us to communicate, Exactly. So, and there has to be some compromise there too. And, you got to understand where that compromise has to be. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about, Janet. And like you said, he was probably doing the best he knew to do. But go ahead, Lorinda.
I hope Renee, I agree with your comment in the chat. She said it's about understanding communication styles also. Correct. But something Absolutely. That you said, Janice, that really jumps out at me. In this age, we are so focused on romantic relationship, learning the other person's love language, that we don't stop to think children have a love language. And based off what you were just saying about your husband, it sounds like he was projecting his love language as giving gifts to the children, trying to express them how much he loves them. And what they needed is, look, we need words of affirmation. We need you to speak to us. And I think as we come together, one of the statistics that I pulled, and that number could be higher now, is there are 66% of marriage of second marriages in this country, and most of those are blending families. And so I think a part of what's my new boo's love language, what gets them going, is we really got to take initiative and learn what are the children's love languages, so we can, exactly what you said, Renee, let's communicate properly with them and love on them the way they need to be loved. I think that's really key.
I think that I think one of the biggest problem that causes downfall in relationship is that we become complacent, right? And not realizing that every day is a new day. And because every day is a new day, I have to do something new. I can't love my wife today, tomorrow the way I loved her today, right? One of the things that I do in the mornings is that, so I get up at 5:30 every morning, and I have a young man that I pray with every morning. And after we finish that, I talk to God and I said, God, please download in me the information that you would like for me to relate to my family this morning. And so every day it's a new assignment. This is why the Bible talks about dying daily. You can't die today for tomorrow. It's a daily dying. And so you have to be intentional. Whenever we become complacent in the relationship, eventually the relationship will start to die. I always talk about no relationship is stagnant. It's either moving towards isolation or oneness. It never remains stagnant. It's always in motion. So it will go to the pendulum, the side of the pendulum, based on where you're putting it, putting your interest.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm watching her. She just fell in love with you all over again. And you just raised the bar for every guy that's listening to this call right now. Bruh, you either messed them up in the head or you just changed their life. One of the two. Okay, so if you hear some people, yeah, now I gotta wake up in the morning asking God to download some stuff from me. Oh Lord, now you just added another segment to my day.
How do I love this person today? That's what you say. Lord, how do I love them today?
Yeah, yes, man.
Because Edward told me, look, you know how we do. Because Edward said every day is new. So Lord, since Edward said that to us,
Lorinda, we heard what he said. We heard what he said. You ain't gotta repeat it. We heard him.
Hey, Lorinda, this is what I did to her. The last time I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna mess up her brain for 1 week. And every morning for 1 week, I got up and the first thing I said to her, babe, how can I serve you today?
It was a great week. It was
for the entire week. Every morning I get up, babe, how can I serve you today?
But Ed, you messed her up. You did that for a week. What about the second week? She wasn't ready for what you would deliver the second
week. because she ran out of things to give me. She ran out of things to give me to do before the week finishes. So sometimes here's what it is. We always talk about leading in the home as husband, but we have to first understand that we ought to be servant before leaders. Mm-hmm. You understand me? And we have to be in a place where we can serve, because the best leader is the one who understands the fundamentals of serving.
Real talk.
All right, yeah, there you go again. Here we go.
This has been an excellent conversation. Thank you so much. Any questions? Any other questions? Any other comments that anybody wants to make? Please open up those mics and chime in. This has been excellent, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to the Smiths.
Wait, Debbie, Deronay says, how did you reciprocate Edward's efforts? Did you do the same for him?
So I didn't do the same for him. Ed's love language is words of affirmation. So when he does something for me, I have to verbally let him know how much I appreciate it. And so that's what I did. I rub on the head and I tell him, you're the best gift giver ever, or you're the best foot massager ever. And he loves it. And so that's how I reciprocated, exactly, by speaking to him in his love language. Absolutely.
Excellent.
So it wasn't, you know what, that was good, but next time do it like this instead.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Next time,
Nope.
you know the eggs are a little soft. I like mine cooked a little bit harder. Can you fix that next time? Add a little
Nope.
bit of cheese.
No, I've never gotten that.
I accepted everything that he did graciously, and just spoke words of life over him. And yeah,
Yeah.
This
do
is
that again.
excellent.
Yeah.
Need another
This
week
is
of that.
excellent.
Look at God. Look at that.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, thank you so very much. I'm excited. Once again, can you tell the folks here that are on the line and those who are watching how they can get your books, and if you have any events that are going on, especially in the Atlanta area. Pure Talk has a huge family in Atlanta, so let them know so that they can come out and support you all. So please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so Atlanta, we are still dipping our toes in the water. This pandemic has just
Mess us
so
up.
we haven't been able to really get out the way that we want to, but it's coming. It's coming. You can connect with us on social media, Meet the Smiths, Facebook page, Instagram, Meet the Smiths too. In terms of events, we have an event that we do every year. We weren't able to do it in 2020 or 2021 because of COVID. It is our relationship boot camp. We travel, like we love to travel. And so 2022, we will be having a Mediterranean cruise.
Oh,
And on this cruise, we have a special speaker that will be joining us, just pouring into our couples, pouring into our singles who choose to join us. But boot camps are amazing. If you go to our Facebook page, you will see pictures from our past boot camps: Costa Rica, Aruba, Curacao, Bahamas, Jamaica, Cancun. Like this is what we love to do. We love to bring couples together and just talk about relationships and help to make relationships better. So if you go to any of our social
When
media,
is that trip?
It is October 18th through the 25th.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's in October. If you were to go on our Facebook page, the information is there. Yeah, it's gonna be sometime in October.
Yeah.
We're excited for that. The last trip that we were planning to do in the Mediterranean, we had about 200 and something folks signed up for it, but because COVID came in and interfered with that, so we had two choices whether or not we were to give them back their money or they could take a credit. Everyone decided to take a credit, so
Excellent.
they're now going to be a part of this.
Yeah. And just to give you guys a little history, when we started our boot camp in 2016, we had about 12 people in attendance. The next boot camp we did a cruise, we had 66 people. The next one, we went to Costa Rica, we had another 60-something people. The last cruise that we did in 2019, we had 202 people?
272 people.
Yeah, so it's growing. We have a lot of fun, and this is what we enjoy doing. We enjoy just connecting with people, talking about relationships, sharing our struggles, and what has helped us to get through, in the hopes that it will help somebody else and their family get through.
Absolutely.
We know one thing: you and Ed will never. You can never divorce. That will never happen.
You know what is so funny, Onyx, you said that, and I've said that to my wife a lot of times. I said, babe, we can never, ever, ever put divorce on the table, because if we were to get divorced, a lot of couples will be getting divorced.
Yeah.
And that makes it so hard for us, man. Okay.
And then and to make it even worse, you'd have to refund all of their money.
He can try to leave if he wants to, but wherever he goes, I'm going.
You're going. There you go.
So
that's good, though. That's really good.
So Debbie, did I hear you say that it's also open for singles as well?
Yes. And we just put our travel agent's website in the chat. MikeOneTravel.com. If you go to his website, you'll see all the information about the cruise, as well as, you know, past boot camps that we've done. And we do, even though our audience is couples, whenever the singles come along with us, we always bring a special speaker for them. We have, you know, their own separate workshop where we can just answer their questions and have those, you know, special moments. So we do cater to them as well.
Yeah.
Well, Lorinda is available. Contact me later for, you know, all her booking information.
Oh, you're her manager. Okay, you're her booking agent.
You see how he did that, right, Debbie? You see how he did that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and for anybody who wants to get in touch with, again, if you want to email us, you know, it's info@meetthesmiths.org. Our website is meetthesmiths.org. You know, we are available to do one-on-one counseling, you know, married or marital or premarital, it does not matter. This is something that we do on a daily basis, so we're having fun.
Yes, indeed.
That's awesome.
Yes, indeed. We absolutely love it. Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for you guys joining us here. It is first and foremost for me. I am so excited just to see your smiling faces. It's been way too long. So thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for just sharing your story and helping those who are trying to navigate the waters of this whole blended family, you know, and wanting it to succeed. We've been talking relationships for a very long time. So I'm just so glad to see that you guys are forging on and helping individuals to have those healthy, whole, and loving and lasting relationships. And so with that said, I thank you. Onyx, I'm gonna give it to you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I echo Lorinda's sentiment. I really appreciate you guys coming on and joining us. You know, it's always good to get wisdom. And, you know, you can get it from people who have it, and you can see that they have it. And, you know, it's pretty obvious to us that you guys have, you know, 15 years and 15 years older than she is, man. I know exactly what you were doing, man. I'm telling you. She just now starting to realize it. Look, when he says I knew you when you were in diapers, he means it. No, but really, I'm really happy to see that you guys have such a wonderful relationship and that you're sharing that knowledge with other people so that they too can have, you know, that love that you guys that you radiate. I want to thank our listeners, folks that are on the calls, folks who are on Zoom, who are on Facebook, who are watching through YouTube. Thank you guys for subscribing to our YouTube page. I don't go on there a whole lot, to be honest with you, but Lorinda's been monitoring, and she called me the other day and was like, oh my God, the numbers are growing. I'm like, okay. She gets so excited about that stuff. And I'm like, okay. But it's nice to see that that people are interested in, you know, making positive change in their lives. And so it's people like you guys that make that happen. So thank you so much. You guys continue to be safe. I pray that you guys will have a wonderful holiday season and are ready for an even better new year. 2022 is going to bring some awesome stuff for a lot of people. I'm looking forward to it. And I know you are too. We got a trip coming up too. I just want to let y'all know. Peer Talk 2.0 is going to Los Cabos, Mexico, September the 21st to the 25th. So yeah, that information is out there as well. It's on our Facebook page. It's on our website. And so, you know, everyone here, please join us. You're gonna have a great time. We went to Antigua back in September and had a ball. We took about 30 some odd people with us to Antigua. So that was an awesome trip. Yep. So you know, humble beginnings. We too hope to charter a ship one day. Hey, we can do it together.
Listen.
Right.
You are big on collaborating now.
Hey, you know it. But again, thank you guys so much. And I'm gonna say good night. I'm gonna let Lorinda wrap us up if she has anything else to say. We'd be volleying the ball back and forth. Y'all see that, right? I ain't gonna have the last word. You take it. You do it.
This is what we do. Well, to all of our listeners, we love you. Thank you for supporting us as always. And we bid you a wonderful and blessed holiday. And if we don't see you online or you chiming in, a very prosperous and blessed 2022. So many good things, so many good things happening. So I love y'all. Be blessed. Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from Peer Talk 2.0.
You are a nut.